G'day, it's Geoff Lewis here from Seriously Series, and once again we've got another workshop video here, but we're going to be doing this video blind. I've actually never ever pulled apart an Aero Parts Capstan Winch before, and I've been having a few problems with the Aero Parts Capstan Winch on the Series 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be stripping down and diagnosing the key fault with this Aero Parts Capstan Winch in the following video. So if this might be something of interest to you, stay tuned. Now, for those of you who don't know, the Series 3, the short wheelbase Series 3 that we took on the Canning stock route was fitted out with a ex-Tasmanian Hydroelectric Commission Capstan Winch. Now, basically, it's an Aero Parts Capstan Winch that was employed by the hydroelectric scheme to actually pull wire through conduit. So the turret is actually in quite good nick for its age. But the issue that I've had is I finally got it set up, I finally got it running sweet, and I went to actually pull the Series 3 out of a dry riverbed. I was actually hoping to shoot a video on how to use the Capstan Winch. But the hemp rope that I was using, natural fibre rope, which is the correct rope to use on these winches, got a little bit tangled up, as it does. And coming out of the riverbed, it got jammed. So I tried to inch the car forward, and there was a bit of a twang, or maybe a slight little bang, and it didn't sound good. And ever since then, as I'll show you in the footage following, if I wrap the rope around 3 times and I pull on it, and it'll take up the tension, but that's it. If there's any significant force on it, it's almost as if like something's slipping, which is really odd, because inside the winch it's very, very simple. There's a worm drive, and then there's a main cog, and that's really about it. And obviously there's a shear pin at the back, but the shear pin, which is I believe around about an 8mm bolt, which you can use too, absolutely fine. So we'll strip this apart, we'll have a bit of a look, and hopefully we can find out what the issue is. Anyway, getting the Capstan Winch to here, I've actually had to jostle it round a bit, and I've already had a couple threaded rods come out. There's this one here, and then this one here looks like it's a bit of chrome. Now these have come out of a hole here, and there's one on the other side. I've put some penetrine into the bolts on top, which I'll show you here, which are an Imperial Allen key bit that you need to pull them out. I think that's going to be a bit of a struggle, so I might have to put a bit of heat on them to try and get them out. Potentially might not have to take it off, but I want to overhaul everything and make sure it's all smeared. So first thing first that we need to do is drain the oil out of the Capstan Winch. So how do we do that? Well, we've got a drain plug here. So I'll just get a nice plastic tub, pop it on top, and we'll drain that oil out. Okay, so we've released the drain plug on the bottom of the Aero Parts Capstan Winch, and I'm happy to report it is an Imperial. It is in fact Whitworth. So if you haven't got yourself a set of Whitworth spanners, go out and get a set, and while you're at it, get a set of Whitworth sockets too. It's a 3/8 BSW is the one that you need in order to take the drain plug out. So we're going to drain it now, and hopefully the oil isn't too bad in it. Pretty heavy. Okay, so I've drained the oil out of the Capstan Winch, and it doesn't seem too bad. I've been using a Penrite gear oil, which actually has a blue dye in it. The oil that I used in it was 80/90, which is exactly the same as what you use in a series transmission, differentials and all the rest. And SAE 90 is what's recommended for this winch. Now, what I'm going to attempt to do now is take out these small little nuts off the threads, and hopefully take this lower plate off here, and we can get a good look inside as to what's happening with this winch. But I'm a bit suspect whether I'll be able to get the nut off and keep the thread within the housing, because they have a habit of coming off with the nut just because of over time. So I'm going to use this super penetrant, which I picked up from Super Cheap Auto. I couldn't get penetrane, sadly, so I'm going to give this a go, and hopefully it makes a bit of a difference. Okay, so I've taken the bottom plate off the Capstan Winch here, and now we can finally see the internals, and I'll just give you a bit of a zoom up or close up. That's basically all it is. So by spinning this here, I'm slowly causing this cog of this worm drive to rotate, and this will in turn, if I spin it round, very slowly you can see the turret moving. And that's literally all there is to it. It's as simple as it gets. It weighs about 50 kilos, but it's absolutely bulletproof. Now, I wanted to pull this bottom plate off obviously to check it, but also I wanted just to be sure that everything was okay with the mechanism. So everything's fine, it's all good. And in actually taking the Capstan Winch off the Series 3, as I touched on earlier, I had, somewhere on the workbench here, a messy desk is a busy desk, and I had a couple bits of threaded rod that actually came out of the turret. And I think that's actually what's causing the Capstan Winch not to be able to take up the tension required from the rope to actually pull the Series 3 forward. So very simple, very easy technology. You just have to get your head around it. So I'll probably have to either find some threaded rod, or I'll have to make up something myself, or I can go online and order the correct part from LR Winches in Germany, I believe. So anyway, that's basically the inside the beast, the bowels of the Capstan Winch. So if you want to see more interesting videos like this, please click the subscribe button below, and if you want to support the generation of content here at Seriously Series, please join us on Patreon.